Hey guys, it is Crawthorne Speed Review, and I'm very excited to say, welcome to Season 5. Week 1 we are facing off against Payton, who we faced in the World Championships. Sorry if I sound a bit off, I'm a bit groggy at the moment. As you can see, I've returned back to the old setup of having the two teams on the same sheet, so I can better explain the team matchup, then I'll go over the team builder, and then I'll go over the game. If I'm not lazy, I'll put a timestamp in the description to skip to the battle itself. Now, if you look at the teams, he has Victini, Sylveon, Mega Blastoise, Gudra, Gligar, Scizor, Hitmonchan, Gourgeist, Electabuzz, Garbodor, and Grumpig. He has literally zero offensive pressure against me, pretty much. The only thing that even does slightly is Victini, and still I have Azumarill and Mega Latias, who work very well against it. His Sylveon is completely shut down by Skarmory and Nidoqueen. His Mega Blastoise has next to no effect on Azumarill. Gudra can sort of whittle down things, but there's no way it's going to take on every mon that outspeeds it and can basically kill it. Gligar isn't very offensive. Scizor is completely stopped by Skarmory. Hitmonchan I'm not scared of at all. Electabuzz, it outspeeds everything on my team, barring Scarfs. I believe it ties with Delphox, I can't remember the speed tiers exactly. But it just doesn't do any damage to me, so I'm not really scared of it. And the other two I don't expect him to bring. The team I'm sort of expecting is Victini, Sylveon, Mega Blastoise, Gligar, Scizor, and Electabuzz. That's sort of what I was expecting the most, but I did keep in mind that he could have brought Gudra and Hitmonchan. The other three I really wasn't expecting at all. So that was sort of my mindset. If you look offensively, I have a very good matchup against him. Azumarill just literally tears through his team. Mega Latias, if given the opportunity, can clean up late game. And Nidoqueen, even though it's a lot slower than a lot of his offensive threats, it can wear down his entire defensive and sort of bulkier core. So those three are definitely going to be brought. Skarmory again as a defensive sort of role, and the other two will be a little less necessary, but I do like them having them there. So let's hop straight into the team builder. So this is the team that I decided to bring. As you can see, I did mention the sort of four big things I wanted to kill, everything there, and I decided to bring Rotom and Sandshrew as my two sort of less important picks, and I'll go over them when I get to them. First off, Mega Latias. I didn't want to go Carmine this week, mainly because it was relatively well shut down by Scizor, because I had to bring Hidden Power Fire over either Dragon or Psychic Stab, which I needed both of. So I went for more of an offensive, speedy attacker this week. Hidden Power Fire obviously for the Scizor, Psyshock for basically everything on his team, but Victini and Draco Meteor was there for literally everything on his team. Sorry. So yeah, it's basically got so much offensive pressure on his team that if something's whittled down, I can just bring it in and revenge it. Simply put, the speed is to outspeed Victini, Jolly Victini. That's the only thing that even comes close, aside from, of course, Electabuzz, which outspeeds me cleanly. So even though I'm expecting a Scarf Victini, just in case, or if I get a knockoff on it, which I don't think I brought, but oh yeah, I have, sorry. If I get a knockoff on it, then why not? Next up we have Skarmory. This is mainly to check Mega Scizor. I don't need to bring it defensive because it just does the job anyway. I brought special defensive to sort of deal better with Sylveon. Gives me an extra switch into it. Roots for longevity. I've got hazard control on this because of the Nidoqueen set I brought, and Ockerberry counter as sort of like a last resort against Victini. So. And plus, if I've got Sturdy up and he's got something in that's physical that can OHKO me that isn't fire type, then I can counter that as well. I don't know what would, but you never know. This 20 in speed is just to avoid being speed crept, and the rest in HP and special defense. Then we have Nidoqueen. I brought a physically offensive set this week because Poison Jab is better stab than Sludge Wave against Sylveon, and Ice Punch is better against Gudra than Ice Beam is. They both get OHKO'd by this spread and coverage unless they're physically defensive, and even then I believe Sylveon is still killed. Fire Punch is for the Scissor, and Earthquake is just generally good coverage against his team, so and also it's an OCO against Victini, so that's not a safe switch into this. I don't see why he would switch it in, but you never know. The speed is 2 speed creep. Gudra, I think, a defensive Gudra with 20 in speed. I can't remember exactly. It's the speed creep, a base 80 with a bit of speed. I can't remember what his base 80s are, but it'll be one of them. Yeah, this just basically kills something. If I get it in on a more defensive one, I get a kill. Next up we have a Choice Scarf Rotom. I needed a Scarfer. I needed something to outspeed the Electabuzz. I was torn between this and Delphox, but ultimately Delphox didn't have a great matchup, so I decided to bring this. And plus it's momentum switch up, so you can never go wrong. In hindsight, maybe Primeape would have been better, but you know, whatever. Leaf Storm, Volt Switch, obviously. Will-O-Wisp is mainly there for the Scizor, as it's a decent enough switch in to one of my other moves, if it's more like a bulkier set. But I do have Thunderbolt, which does a lot of damage either way, which you might not expect. So I didn't really need another move on there, another offensive move, a hidden power, whatever. So I just stuck to that. And next up we have possibly my win condition this game if I get it belly drummed up at the right point. Azumarill, max attack obviously, and speed creeping Scizor with 32 in speed, I believe there, because that's the only thing that can take and that can deal with this. If I'm low HP with the belly drum, it can bullet punch me, and so if I can outspeed a bulkier set, I can Aqua Jet it and kill it. So that's the whole idea of this. Basically everything that doesn't get killed by Aqua Jet, which is basically only his Gourgeist and his Mega Blastoise, get killed by Play Rough, so there's no need for any other moves again. And finally we brought Sandshrew this week. If he initially this was Natural Gift over Knockoff, Natural Gift Ice, but because Sandrush is a hidden ability that's only available after 5th gen, it's not compatible with Natural Gift, unfortunately. So I had to run Knockoff instead. Basically, ground coverage is very good against this team. The only immunity he has is Gligar, which is why I wanted the ice type coverage. He's also got a resistance in Gourgeist, which was also super effective against it. Basically, with a Sandstorm up and this speed, I outspeed everything on his team, barring Electabuzz. Yeah, barring Electabuzz. So, which isn't going to kill me anytime soon with the UV light. So, if I can Sandstorm up and get a Swords Dance up, I can sweep with Sandshrew, which is quite a funny prospect. It's going to be hard to pull off. If I had Sandstorm on another mon, it would have been easier, but I didn't really have room for it. So maybe we can see a Sandshrew sweep. Who knows? That's the dream right there. But yeah, I'm pretty confident going into this one. I've got a decent enough matchup, especially with Azumarill and Mega Latias there, and these two as more defensive mons. So that core of 4 is going to be very useful in most weeks, but this week in particular, it's very strong. So I'll see you in the battle. So here we are. You already know the team that I was going to bring. Surprisingly, he didn't bring Gligar. Instead he brought Hitmonchan, but that's fine. It's not really a threat to my team, so I'm not too bothered. Overall, if you look at his team, he's got 0 hazard setters. So if I get my rocks up, it means that I don't have to worry about defogging them away. He'll have to sort it out himself. He's got 2 decent spinners anyway, but it will force that move out, so I can potentially switch around it. He has a lot of potential leads. He's got a lot of Volt Turn going on, and it's got Sylveon as well, which is generally a good lead against a lot of rock setters, except for mine, which are more tailored to beating Sylveon. Yeah, I was sort of considering leading with Skarmory to set up the rock straight away, but I was expecting the Electabuzz lead, so I decided to lead Rotom, just so I could get some switch in his Stiv. Plus it allows me to scout if this is Scarfed or not, which if it is, it outspeeds everything. But as you will see, as I Volt Switch out, I outspeed it, so it's definitely more of a bulky set, especially with the damage I did. I'm guessing that's Eviolite, and probably tailored to outspeed Mega Latias barely. I decided to go out into Nidoqueen because I didn't know what it was going to go for. It goes for the Ice Punch, doesn't do all too much damage, and I get frozen.
darkness, my old friend.
So yeah, Hex getting off to a good start. That's my luck for you. Thankfully though, I unthought straight away, and as I go for an earthquake, I do a lot of damage to this thing. And here, I'll quickly pause it. I was so close to clicking Fire Punch predicting the Scizor, but it was too much of a risk to let this thing live and potentially get a Psychic Shock off and kill this, so I still go for the Poison Jab. Don't want to over predict on turn 2, and what do you know, he goes out into his Scizor. If I had gone for Fire Punch right there, this was pretty much GG from the start, so it's kind of unfortunate that I didn't predict there, but what do you know. Here I've got the safest switch in the world into Skarmory. No reason not to, as he goes for the U-turn. Oh no, I go into Sandshrew, sorry, because I predicted him to double out into something, but he goes for the U-turn. I'm not sure exactly why I went into Sandshrew over Skarmory, maybe because I wanted to bait out the Blastoise. I'm not too sure, but here I decided to go out into my Azumarill, scouting to see what move he was to go for. As I'm expecting like an Ice Beam maybe to hit maybe the Rotom. There we go, Ice Beam, and I decided to double back out into Rotom and see what coverage he has for Azumarill. And as you'll see, he reveals an interesting move which I didn't even know Blastoise got. He reveals Flash Cannon, which is good to know. It means that he has got a bit of coverage to deal with Azumarill. But now I've got the freest Volt Switch in the world. I've got no reason not to go for Volt Switch as he goes out into his Electabuzz. I believe I Volt Switch out into my Nidoqueen. I can't remember if I'm being honest. It's either my Nidoqueen or my Sandshrew because they both take an Ice Punch. I go into Sandshrew, and here if I go for Sandstorm, I can outspeed everything. If I go for Swords Dance, I can OHKO a lot of his team. It's all dependent on what he switches in. I was kind of expecting him to go out into either Scizor or Sylveon, which I could have outsped. So I go for the Swords Dance. He ends up going into his Blastoise, which before the Sandstorm being up, I can't outspeed. So I am forced to switch out next turn, which is unfortunate, but you know, I can deal with it. If I remember right, I go into my Rotom. I can't remember. No, I go into Skarmory because it can take basically everything but the water move as he goes for the water move, which is unfortunate. He doesn't get the burn, thankfully, even though I don't have any physical attacking moves, so I am forced to switch back out into my Rotom as he goes for another Scald, I believe. Oh no, he goes for an Aura Sphere predicting the Roost. Here I have no reason not to go for the Leaf Storm. I believe it's a roll on the Blastoise that I was expecting, which had a bit of speed to creep Nidoqueen, which he didn't bring. He brought Max Bulk, or it was a low roll, but I'm fine with letting this go because it's worn down. Then we get Blastoise, which is what it was there for. Here I go into Latias. It's the easiest revenge kill in the world, and it means I can get a free Mega off, so nothing wants to switch into it, so I just Psyshock, I believe, to finish it off. Yeah. There you go, that's a dead Mega Blastoise. Mega Latias is OP, it got a kill. Please nerf, please ban, it's OP. I believe he goes out into his Scizor here. I'm kind of expecting it to have Occa Berry, so I switch straight on to Skarmory, not wanting to risk anything, as he goes for a Bug Bite, I believe. So at this point I'm thinking he's either Scarf or Occa Berry, leaning more towards Occa Berry as he eats my Occa Berry, ironically. And I believe I just go for a Roost here, or I switch, I can't remember, I think I go for a Roost. Oh no, I set up Rocks and I Roost next turn, that's right. I predict him to Ice Punch here, so I go for a Roost. It does nothing to me. I can easily take another one, but sadly I've only got counter on this, which means if he's got Thunderbolt, I'm risking quite a bit of damage on this. So I decided to go out into Sandshrew, predicting a Thunderbolt or a Thunder Punch or whatever, and he goes for Ice Punch again, which is a shame. I'm going to have to sack off Sandshrew, which put in the finest of work this week. It clicked Swords Dance once and took a few hits, so Sandshrew OP. Sadly it dies. I believe I got into Nidoqueen here. Oh no, I go into Latias. This can do strictly nothing to me. Ice Punch does 32% max, I believe. I go for the Psyshock. It doesn't kill, which shows that he's more of a bulky EV like set, as I do outspeed. And he goes for a Thunder Wave, which is just disgusting. I'm very disappointed. I could have killed with the Draco, but I didn't want to risk him going then out into his Scizor, sorry, and setting up. So I decided to go straight out into my Azumarill, predicting the Ice Punch, and I can just Aqua Jet it to kill it. So that's an easy free kill for Azumarill. And I believe he goes out into his Scizor here. And this is where things get interesting. I know he has to either A, superpower predicting the Skarmory, or U-turn for momentum, and he does show the superpower, so I stay in, Ballsy McBall's face, and I go for a belly drum. That's right, we're setting up right in his face.
It doesn't get any better than this. I'm a goddamn millionaire.
On a Scizor, and yeah, Aqua Jet just kills anything that wants to come in. He goes out into his Sylveon first, that's dead. Literally nothing on his team wants to take an Aqua Jet. As you saw, he outsped me with his Scizor, which means that he's either speedy or scarfed. I'm leaning more towards speedy, but you never know. He goes out into his Hitmonchan, maybe got the Bullet Punch, maybe got the Mach Punch. Either way, I lived them both. Bullet Punch was a roll, of course, but yeah, I guess it's sort of payback for the freeze, even though I thought out is still a bit unfortunate. So yeah, I'm looking strong here. He goes out into his Scizor. If he's speedy with Bullet Punch, I'm done for. If he's just scarfed, then I'm not. He's just scarfed. So Aqua Jet is finishing literally everything off, and Azumarill is going 5-0 this week. Top of the MVP race, hopefully. The week's not over yet, of course, but it's unlikely that something's going to go 6-0, and because the sort of second ruling is alphabetically and it's an A, it's looking likely to be first. So there you go, Azumarill, the absolute beast, cleaning up late game. I did say that it had a good matchup, as you could very well see. Literally nothing wanted to take an Aqua Jet, so overall good game, Payton. You basically had a rough matchup, and that Scizor play was what really threw that game in my favour. You didn't really have much of a choice. I would have gone for U-turn if I were you, but it still would have meant that I got a free belly drum up either way, so you're still risking a lot there. So yeah, we're looking strong. Honestly, 4-0 win to start off a season is always good. I believe I had the exact same start last season, so in the hopes that this season I don't get hexed to hell and go on tilt, then we should be looking good. Next week we are facing Melon, who is somebody I've always wanted to face since I saw him play last season. He's very consistent, and he's quite a scary opponent to face. I can't remember what the matchup is like, but with my team it's hard to have a bad one, really. So hopefully I can pull through, and if not, at least have it be an interesting game. So with that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.